Good morning, dear colleagues and my dear students. This is Vikram Reddy, School Assistant Arts at ZPSS Koosmanchi, Khammam district. Today onwards, for few classes, we shall discuss about the 17th lesson in 10th class textbook, that is Independent India, first 30 years, that is in between 1947 and 1977. For today's class, what you will learn in the today's class, we expect some learning outcomes by watching this today's class. From this, you will understand the immediate goals of independent India. What were the goals independent India tried to achieve immediately after independence? Next, you will compare the present voting system with that of 1952. There were many changes in between the election process, olden days and the present days. You will able to compare the present system. You will analyze the results of first three general elections, and you will be able to differentiate between single party system and multi-party system, and you will identify reasons for the demands of the states reorganization on linguistic basis. After the completion of lesson, we are expecting you will achieve these goals. Okay, we shall get into lesson getting independence. To guide our system, to guide our governments, we try to set up or we try to frame some guidelines, rules and regulations on the name of Constitution. So our Constitution came into existence on 26th January 1950. Our Constitution set up lots of goals to be achieved. But as we got independence, our Constitution set up immediate goals to be achieved immediately also. What were the immediate goals or immediate tasks set by Indian Constitution? The first was our independent India has to be achieve political unity. As we know, politically India was divided into two areas. One area was ruled directly by the Britishers, which was called as British India. Next, the other area was ruled over by around 550 princes. So that's why they were called as princely states. So we got independence from the British rule, but the rest of India was under the rule of princely princes. So it became the important task to achieve the political unity, means uniting these all small princely states into a political unity or political system. Next one, democratic setup. Indian Constitution prescribed India as the democratic system or setup. So it became the first goal to set up a democratic system to function in India. Next one, achieving of social and economic changes. As we know, India consists of lots and lots of social divisions and social differences on the name of caste, creed, religion and region. Next, economic divisions or economic changes also. India was divided into haves and have-nots. So in this way, achieving of social and economic changes became the one of the important goal of the Indian Constitution. As the leadership came to the power, they did not have much experience. They learnt from their experiences. So these became the challenges for the leadership to be achieved. First one, unity and integrity. As we already discussed, achieving of political unity means merging of princely states into India. Achieving of political unity, integrity of the country became the important challenge for the leadership. Next one, transformation of state, particularly social and economic transformation, achieving of social unity, eradication of social differences or social divisions. Next, achieving of economic equality, or simply we can say transformation from the existing stage to betterment stage. That became the one of the important challenge for the leadership. Next one, functioning of democratic system. As constitution prescribed, India will undertake a democratic form of government. So set up different democratic organs, set up a democratic government became the challenge. So how the initial leadership faced these challenges, how leadership overcome these challenges, and in the process of facing challenges, it also got they were faced some of the important crises. How we shall also discuss how the leadership overcome those crises. We shall discuss two or three instances in the process. As I told, Indian Constitution undertook democratic system or democratic form of government in India. Means it assured political equality to the people. Means as per the Indian Constitution, all the people in India are equal politically. So for that, to achieve this particular target, it provided universal adult franchise. Means what is meant by universal adult franchise? That means providing right to vote for all the people irrespective of caste, creed, gender, region and religion. It provided right to vote for all the people. Through that it achieved political equality, and anybody can contest in the election, and anybody can use his right to vote. It is considered as the one of the biggest political achievement by the independent India. Why? Why? Because the Western countries or the European countries which got independence in 19th century, early years of 20th century, though they got independence early, but they provided right to vote for the people stage by stage. For example, if you take Britain got it became democratic in the year 1688, but it provided right to vote for its women in the year 1918. Means it took around 250 years to provide right to vote for women. Whereas Switzerland, it provided right to vote for women in the year 1971. Means we can say political equality was achieved by Indian constitution or Indian system immediately after getting independence. Providing right to vote or providing political rights to the people is easy on paper, but implementation is the main problem. Indian political system faced some difficulties in achieving this political rights of the people, in achieving political equality. Right to vote was provided for all the people irrespective of social divisions, but implementation became some problem. Particularly, Indian social system has different dimensions. For example, women. In most of the groups, women won't go outside. They won't let out from the house. Next one, people. Most sections of the people were illiterates. They don't know how to read and how to write. Next, there was no special identity for women. Most of the women in the society were identified on the name of their fathers or their husbands. So these became the important problems to overcome. How Indian political system overcome these difficulties? The democratic system, to establish a democratic government, it conducted general elections. So in the independent India, first general elections were held in the year 1952. To complete this election process, a commission was set up, which came to be called as Election Commission. It is an independent and constitutional organ. It organized, it completed the total election process in India. To overcome these difficulties, to overcome the problem of illiterate people, to make the voting or democratic system a grand success, it came up with a alternate measures. First one, Election Commission provided symbols to the all political parties and for the candidates who were contesting in the elections, because the voters who are coming to vote were unable to read and write or read the names of the candidates. So that's why for the easy identification, Election Commission provided or allotted symbol for each candidate and each political party. Next one, another important measure taken was separate ballot boxes for the each candidate. One ballot box was provided for the one candidate. If 20 candidates contested in the elections, 20 ballot boxes were provided. A voter can affix his vote and he can simply drop that ballot paper in the box of candidate to whom he voted. Next, to encourage the voters, to make them understand about the importance of voting system and to bring the voters to the polling booths, the Election Commission conducted massive campaigns. Through these measures, it tried to make election process a grand success. After giving wide publicity, Election Commission conducted first general elections in India in the year 1952. In the process of elections, Election Commission experienced interesting incidents. For instance, women in various areas, they observed parda system even in the polling booths also, as per their traditions. In some rural polling stations, the people from different areas or surrounding villages, they reached polling stations a day before of the polling, and on that night they celebrated mass festival. They treated elections as the festival. And in some areas like Punjab, Haryana, the people in some villages, they organized wrestling competitions in between the representatives of contesting candidates to choose whom they have to vote. In some areas, in the polling boxes, ballot boxes, the officers found bulk letters which were they appealed the government for food and clothes. In this process, some of the interesting experiences were evidenced. Finally, the elections were successful. Elections successfully completed. How were the results in the elections? We can expect the same thing. In the first 3 decades, in the first 30 years of the independent India, the general elections were completely dominated by Congress party. The Congress won 1952, 1957, 1962 general elections. Jawaharlal Nehru, the leader of the Congress party, became the first Prime Minister of India after the elections. Why? Why Congress party dominated the first 3 decades or first 30 years of the general elections? As we know, Congress party led the nationalistic movement which held for the independence of which struggled for the independence of India. It became familiar to the people all over India, and the people were familiar with the leaders of Congress party, Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad, Lal Bahadur Shastri. And though some other parties were there along with Congress party, They have influence in some areas, but they were unable to compete with the Congress throughout the country. That's why the first 30 years, with the impression for the struggle of independence, Congress dominated all the elections as Nehru became the Prime Minister. But one of the interesting thing in the Congress was that the Congress has its internal groups, means the leaders divided into, they formed into small groups because they represented diverse interest. The leaders came from different areas, they came from the different social background or economical background. They represented their own people, and the all the leaders when when we came to national wide, they have their own special interest or diverse interests. Automatically, with these interests, the leaders were formed into different small groups, and they try to compete among themselves on the policy decisions of the government. Sometimes, though the opposition parties were very minor, as Congress party dominated the elections, sometimes some of the groups in the Congress party itself, they tied with other opposition parties against the governments, demanding for the changes in the policies taken over by India. Means we can say that ruling party and opposition parties both are same important for the success of democracy. But in the initial days of the independent India, Congress party dominated the complete elections. The opposition party became minor, but the groups in the Congress party played both the roles of official government. As usually, opposition party role were also played by the Congress leaders. Due to its own advantage, Congress party dominated the elections. As usually, other parties got less seats in the parliament. But after independence, within 20 years of time, the other political parties also they became stronger in their own areas, and they became strong contenders for the power. They became to compete with the Congress party. So the single party dominated democratic system in the initial days of independence. Later, by the end of first 30 years, it became the multi-party system. Means though Congress was in power, though Congress became the ruling party in all these elections, but by the end of 1970s, the opposition party also became the strongest parties. This led to the open competition of all parties. As we know, the success of democracy depend upon the strong opposition party also. Next, our democracy success, secret of the Indian democratic system success lies with multi-party system. Multi-parties represents multi-dimensions of the people, opinions of the people, and they were also strongest groups in the parliament. This led to the success of Indian democracy. So next, as I told at the starting of the lesson, the independent India, it faced a lot of challenges, and it experienced some important crises in the early days itself. The first challenge faced by independent India was the demand for the state reorganization on language basis. What does it mean? Means the people in different areas under the different administrative units, they demanded for the reorganization of states, but that was not on the basis of different aspects. They demanded for the reorganization on the basis of language. Why this particular demand arose? As you know, India before independence, India was under the administrative rule of two important areas. First one was British rule. In British India, the administrative units were called presidencies. Calcutta Presidency, Madras Presidency, like that. In latter ages, the presidencies were termed as provinces, means more smaller administrative unit, they become provinces like Central Province, Berar Province, Calcutta Province, Madras Provinces, like that. They formed their provinces or administrative units as per their convenience, not on the basis of the convenience of the people. So each administrative unit consists of the people who speaks different languages, like that of in the princely states also. For example, the princely states like our Hyderabad, Travancore, they were under the rule of princes, but the people in these princely states were also, they belong to different languages. Each unit, they consist of either princely states or British provinces. They consist the people of different languages. For example, if you take Madras state under the British rule, the people in Madras state were, they speak Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu, Orissa, like that. If you take the princely state of Hyderabad, our Telangana people, they spoke Telugu, some people spoke Maratha, Kannada. In that way, the people in a administrative unit, they spoke different languages. So they felt it was not convenient to them to communicate with the people of other languages. So before the independence itself, the people in different areas demanded for the state reorganization. They demanded reorganize the states on the basis of language. Even the Congress party, which led the freedom movement, it accepted, it passed a resolution. If we got independence, Congress party resolution, it passed a resolution that it will reorganize the states on the basis of language. But after independence, due to different experiences, the leaders, the national leaders doubted on this particular demand. Whether if the states were reorganized on the basis of language, this particular decision, will it lead to build the unity of the nation, or it lead to break the unity of the nation? The leaders were in dilemma because they have experience of religious based nationalistic division. As we know, and in the process of independence, India was divided into India and Pakistan on the basis of religion. Due to that sort of division, it created a lot of problems. It led to the loss of human loss and properties loss. So with that experiences, though the Congress party promised to reorganize the states on the basis of language, but after independence, they were doubted. It may lead to break the unity of the nation because their main motto became the security and stability and the unity of the nation. That's why the leaders of the nation were in dilemma. The demand of states reorganization, it came from different areas of the country, but it became a severe demand in the Telugu speaking people areas, particularly in Telangana and in Andhra Pradesh. The Telugu people demanded for new state right from the before independent struggle itself. The people in Andhra area, they formed Andhra Mahasabha, and they demanded for the reorganization of states on the basis of language. And the Andhra Mahasabha, it brought people together, and it put a single point demand before the government. And under the leadership of Andhra Mahasabha, the people demanded for the state reorganization, and they started a movement. In that process, they submitted petitions and representations to the government, and also they organized street marches or nothing but rallies, and they also organized fastings. Means in different ways they try to put the seriousness of the demand before the government. As usual, as we already discussed, though the Congress resolved in favor of the state reorganization on the basis of language, but after the independence, the Congress party ignored the division of states on the basis of language, as I told, due to different reasons. So, due to the dilemma of Congress party, it was badly affected in the first general elections. As we already learnt that Congress party became the single largest and majority party in the parliament, but it was badly affected in Telangana and Andhra. Here, opponent parties, particularly communist parties in Telangana and Andhra, they supported the linguistic movement, means reorganization of states on the basis of language. So they won majority seats in Telugu speaking areas, particularly in Telangana and Andhra. But what was the opinion of Congress party or the first Prime Minister Nehru? Actually, Nehru was not against the state reorganization. He did not oppose the formation of linguistic states, but he believed that it was not the right time to reorganize states on the basis of languages. Why? Why? Because India was in the process of consolidating. It got independence, and it conducted elections. It was trying to change. Means it was trying to put maximum efforts for the change in the social sector and economic sector. So at that time, it was not the time to reorganize states, and the reorganization of states may lead to some other diversions. So there should be no distraction or no diversion during this particular time. So that was the thinking of Nehru. But the whole Congress party and the government, the national government, was in dilemma whether to accept the demand or not to accept the. In that process, as a turning point of the movement, Potti Sriramulu went on hunger strike in the year 1952, and the hunger strike continued for 58 days. He continued fasting. Unfortunately, Potti Sriramulu died on 15th December 1952. So with that incident, the movement became very severe. So the government was unable to control the situation, and due to the force from the common public, and it obeyed for that demand, and the government announced the separation of Andhra area from Tamil Nadu, that was Madras state. Means the Madras state was divided into Andhra, Telugu speaking people area, and the other part of Tamil Nadu. So this was, and simultaneously on the bifurcation of Andhra and Tamil Nadu, and the central government appointed a commission which was called as the State Reorganization Commission, SRC, that was appointed in the year 1953, month of August. The members Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikkar and Hridayanath Kunjru. Under the membership of these members, a state reorganization commission was formed, and it toured all over the country, and it studied the conditions in different areas, and it submitted the report in the year 1956. And the commission, State Reorganization Commission, accepted the division of states on the basis of languages. So on the recommendations of the SRC, State Reorganization Commission, State Reorganization Act was passed in Parliament. So as per the Act, it created 14 new states and 6 union territories. Our Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, these were the new states formed with this 1956 State Reorganization Act. The commission took major languages as criteria like Telugu, Tamil, some other languages like Kannada, Malayalam. But the small languages like tribal languages were not considered to reorganize the states. Only the major areas where the people are speaking major languages are more in number, that languages were taken into consideration and they were divided into different states. The Andhra Pradesh state was established by gathering or by merging Andhra area and Telangana area. Telugu speaking people were organized into one state. So finally, the problem, the crisis or the challenge before the new government was smoothly and successfully resolved, and it helped to consolidate India. Actually, the leaders thought the reorganization of states on the basis of language may break out the unity, but in experience, it consolidated. Division of states on the basis of languages consolidated the unity of India, and it did not weaken India as the leaders expected. So, in that way, the first challenge or first crisis which faced by the independent India was successfully resolved. At the end, we should recapitulate the topics that we learnt today. You try to recall the immediate goals before independent India, the formation of democratic setup, transformation of social and economic change, and other goals, and recall about first general elections, process of first general elections, the formation of election commission and its arrangements to make convenience for the illiterate people. That was each ballot box for the each candidate, symbols, alternate of names, giving allotment of symbols, and these all. Results and trends of general elections. As we know, in the first 30 years, the general elections were completely dominant over by Congress party and the other political parties as they got minor seats. One party dominance and multi-party system. In the initial years of independence, there was one party dominance in Indian democracy. Later, it turned into multi-party system. Try to differentiate between these two. The demand for state reorganization. The first ever challenge faced by independent India was the state reorganization, the demand of the reorganizing of states on the basis of language, how it turned into a movement. State Reorganization Act, how State Reorganization Act was passed in Parliament, what was the preface and what were the results of the State Reorganization Act. You go through the textbook, try to recall these all concepts and try to write answers in your notebook.